Hello again. I'm Dean Sharp with the National Freedom Brigades. I'm the executive director working for Charity Lynch. I've been tasked with preparing some fundamental training for all of our brigades scattered across the country and elsewhere in the Western Hemisphere and maybe even around the world. And so we're focusing on fundamentals, how to do the fundamentals as we get ready for meetings, as we attend meetings, and as we come out of meetings. So I want us to go right into our slideshow and we will look at this together. I think we're going to focus on 5 fundamental focus areas in this 101 training. The first one will be today in this first video, preparations for attending a meeting, what we do. The second one will be preparing to go to the meeting the day of or the evening of the meeting itself and all the things that need to fall into place. Make sure that we've done the right thing. The third section will be actually doing a debriefing following the meeting itself that we have, and this is meetings talking about school boards, county commissioners, city council, whatever it is in our county areas, city and counties, make sure that we're restoring our republic as it was founded. That's our goal. We got to keep that in mind. Fourth video will be obviously adjusting our long range planning and our goals after the meeting, what happened and how we need to adjust goals either up or back and make sure that that's done appropriately. And then number 5 in the basics is action steps that we take in the county, in the city, in our area that specifically follow this meeting long before we prepare to go to the next meeting. These are all fundamentals. I want to again stress that we want to focus on fundamentals. I'm not trying to talk beneath anyone or above anyone. I want us all on the same page that we can be a mighty team and just fundamentally a sound team. So if we practice and train in fundamentals every day, if we put that to heart, much like a basketball team or any baseball team that goes through training, we will get better and better and develop what I call, as a former university ball player, muscle memory when we go on court, for example, and know exactly how to respond at a particular time. So, in session 1 today, we're looking at preparing for a meeting. And there's some key areas that we need to look at and think about as we do this. And this is preparing for a meeting at a specific time and place that we need to identify. That is, identify, and it sounds silly, but sometimes we need to back up and look at this. I don't know how many times people have gotten ready for a meeting and somebody would say, well, where is this tonight that we're meeting? And nobody seems to know. So let's identify the time and the location for the upcoming meeting, which can change from month to month or from time to time. Some organizations don't use the same location each time. So you need to identify that. Sounds silly, but it's very fundamental. Put that location, that address, in your GPS for easy, quick reference later, because invariably, a lot of times when we go to a meeting, we'll be running what we think is a little bit late. And we don't want to show up late, but we want to make sure that we get there as quickly as we can in a timely manner. So put that in your GPS. Use a website in your preparation for studying things in preparation for going to this meeting. The website that this group uses, the county commissioners or the city council, as an example. Make notes about that. Important factors to take note of as you get together with your brigade and talk about these things. There are things that collectively we can do in a synergistic way that 1 + 1 = 3 or more in what we produce. So it's important to look at these websites to ascertain a lot of information as much as we possibly can. Make it a point when you're doing that to request, if you will, email notifications for future meetings. Make sure that you're on target to receive those and to get those for any of the future meetings. That in case you don't, you forget, and not that you necessarily would, but you want to make sure that you don't forget. and get that email notification that most websites will provide for you a place to sign up for that. Put the meeting on your calendar. You may have a calendar in your phone. You may have some kind of a physical calendar that you write in. Either way, put it on your calendar and look at that each night before you go to bed, thinking about the next day's activities. And you'll, see that the meeting's coming up the next day or the next night. We can get so busy that this becomes important for us to do. Otherwise, we might forget. Also, look ahead if you can a few days. Sometimes it's available a week before, sometimes much longer before, sometimes just the night before. But the advertised agenda for the upcoming meeting. This will help you in the last few hours before that meeting to prepare your thoughts as you get ready to attend. And then, whenever possible, review notes that you've got from the previous meeting that you had a month ago or 2 weeks ago with this same meeting, talking about what they did then and getting ready for what's going to happen in this particular meeting coming up. And place all of these notes inside of a manila file folder. Keep it in your desk or in your file cabinet and have it ready for your briefcase or your backpack as you go to this meeting, that you can easily place it there, have everything organized and ready to go. See, fundamentals. It helps us prepare and to be ready one step at a time so that we can accomplish our goals. The second area or second step that we want to take is doing some research. Everybody on the team that's going to this meeting should do some kind of research. In other words, we need to look at the people that are involved in the meetings. Who are the main players? What do they do? What's been decided in the past? These types of things that we can look at, make notes of, maybe put it on an Excel spreadsheet, and we can track this over time. Those are things that we can do. Note the various websites I note here that this group uses. I'll grant to you that they have one main website that they will direct people toward, but they themselves will use several websites. And we need to become familiar with those. We'll see what's going on and we'll have a deeper understanding about what's really happening. So let's do that. Review all the current issues. This is something that each person should do at a very high level. Just a cursory level, noticing what the public news is about the meeting, the agenda items, the past decisions that have been made, what are the political ramifications of what's going on in your county. And this helps you gain a better understanding as you get ready to go to the meeting, that you don't walk in cold. You've already got the gray matter involved in that. And these are just basic fundamentals to get ready for. List and outline, if you can, some of the factors that each board member that you're looking at that night or that day as you meet with them and listen to them. Notice each one of them and try to understand their backgrounds and what their decisions have been in the past. And you can sort of track ahead and plan ahead. You can connect the dots and see where they tend to be going. This will be very important information for you to have as you get ready for the meetings. It helps you not to walk in, as I said, very cold, but you can walk in a warm way, that is, having a depth of understanding about what they're doing and what they're trying to accomplish. Learn all the acronyms that you can. All of us use them. They're becoming more popular all the time. Engineers, people in government circles always use acronyms, and get familiar with what they're saying and what they mean by these. Make notes about it if you need to. Have a sheet that just lists them out so that you can become familiar with them over time. You don't have to memorize them all at once, but over time you need to become familiar with that. Then step 3, as we prepare, is to get to know the members of the organization. For example, the school board that we might mention. List the various names. I like to take a piece of paper and just draw a line across the top. And as I walk into a meeting, I see them sitting across in front of me, and I like to list the names of each person in order there, and then write some things about each one of them that you know to be true, what they've discussed in the past, doing some research on their past activities, what decisions they've made. You can get a better understanding about not only where they've been, what they're doing, but also where they're going and how they tend to think. That will help us as we plan our attack and our approach as we try to restore things as our founders set this up. You might list all their personal information, it'll help you. I like to learn things about people like what their birthday is, what's their education. Sometimes you can, in a meeting, you can learn this about them. You become very friendly in a sociable time. You learn about their accomplishments, what they used to do beforehand, and this will come in handy, believe it or not, when you get ready to write them notes later on, that you can remind them that, hey, I know your birthday's coming up, or I know you've got a family situation, but I wanted to talk to you about this issue that's in our county right now. You might notice and take note of any political skirmishes they hear that they've been involved in the past. That'll stick up like a red thumb, a sore thumb, actually. Just take note of that. You don't want to use it necessarily as ammunition, but you want to be aware of that so that you can help see some of the pitfalls that may be coming. Note their outstanding words that they use oftentimes in supporting or opposing some particular issue. That'll be very important on particular projects, and it'll help you to learn how they think, how they work, and it'll help you to be a more important person on our panel or on our brigade that we work with them. And go ahead and list out these acronyms that they tend to use, which are very important for us to know, and it helps us better to interact and communicate with them. So these are some of the key elements that we take care of. In step 4, we also want to prepare for that meeting the day of the meeting itself, and that is to make sure whenever we're doing some of this preparation ahead of time, that we have enough time planned ahead that we're not rushing right at the last minute. We need to gather all the information and making sure that we've got everything there that we can be there. Now, I'm right now with a briefcase. I will carry with me either a briefcase or a backpack, as you see here. Something like this. It doesn't have to be this big, but I carry something like this with me, and I have various things in here. I have 2 pens that operate and work. By the way, I have a couple of notepads. I have 2 pair of eyeglasses for reading glasses, things like that. I actually put in here some pre-prepared questions that I may want to ask. May not get a chance to ask them during the meeting, but I want to have them ready to go. I want to have a copy of the agenda that we're going to see that night. I want to have a bottle of water, maybe a candy bar or some kind of nabs in here in case I get hungry. The meeting goes on and on. And you know what I'm talking about. Just have all of these things ready. Have your file folders and papers ready to go so you can pull them out, and very easy to get a hold of them when you get inside the meeting itself. Um, you might get a copy of all the alternative brigade leaders' phone numbers and carry those with you. The reason being is if you're getting into a meeting that's going to be very explosive and there's going to be things that are going to be voted on that evening that are very, very crucial for the county, and we're opposing many of these things, we want to call people to get reinforcements to come out as quickly as possible that night or that evening, and to call the leaders, have them call their brigade members. And literally within 15 to 20 minutes, we can have the entire room packed with people. We've done that in the past. And we call these emergency meetings that all hands on deck that we need to come out. Not that everyone has to speak, but it's amazing how many things can be stopped if we have a big crowd that shows up and just by their presence shows opposition to what they're trying to do. That's important. Also, learn to dress appropriately. I always like to tell people to wear business casual. You don't have to wear a suit and tie unless the occasion calls for it. When I worked in corporate life, I had a tuxedo that I'd wear when I was entertaining clients, but I wore business casual most of the time. Sometimes you can wear jeans and a shirt, but always have a sleeved shirt on, not a sleeveless shirt. You don't want to look too casual. You want your shoes shined. You want your hair kind of neat, combed, um, and make sure that you don't have any body odor. I know some people will say, "Well, goodness gracious, that's pretty simple." That's right. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. But these are the things that we need to practice and train in the basics every time so that we put our best foot forward and make sure that we're communicating well. Check all of your language at the door that might be offensive to someone, your four-lettered words, any insults, etc. Lay that aside. I like to always say, let's treat everyone with dignity and respect in the way we approach them. And then ask yourself this question. It's very important. How can God use me today or tonight to make a difference? Remember who we're an ambassador of. We're not ambassadors for ourselves, really. We're ambassadors for God, for Jesus Christ, for the Freedom Brigades, and we all stand and fall based on how we conduct ourselves and the demeanor that we have. John Wooden used to say this way: peace of mind, success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of the self satisfaction in knowing that you made the effort to do your very best to become the best that you're capable of becoming. In other words, learn to train on doing the fundamentals very well, and the little things will fall in place. It's a matter of little fundamental steps. That's what it's all about. So, remember these things as you prepare to go to your next meeting. Take time to focus on these little fundamentals. And believe you me, if you do that, you're going to make a big difference as you train in this and you do them over and over and over again, and it becomes part of a muscle memory, as I like to call it. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoy that. Welcome to the National Freedom Brigades, and let's make a difference as we bring back our great republic back in place like it should be.